Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. Oh, you're going. Oh, it is so humbling to really not know what you're going to say. It really is so. First of all, thank you for joining us. We love you. We just, like, this gratitude just pours out for mighties that are dedicated to God. Because it's a constant reminder to point us up, to see what's true. Okay, we're going to see what's true right now together. See, when you're standing shoulder to shoulder, you can't tip over. Oh my goodness. Okay, Jesus, what serves us? What's most helpful for healing the mind? Well, what he's talking about now at this session, we had started it so that some beings in Europe could join us, and they're not available today, to actually do joining. This is the most important thing, is this coming together and seeing what's true. You know, we have the joinings at 8:30 in the morning, and we have them at 7 in the evening Central Time, and then we have this one. And if there are other groups or course groups that want this direct experience, then we really invite them to contact us. We're happy to set it at a time when the course group can make it, because this is so, well, profound. To be encouraged that every single one of us can hear this voice, and that this voice will guide us specifically into the subconscious mind to go, okay, look at this, this, and this. And what he's really talking about right now with me is consistency. That the ego is very inconsistent. See, it likes to dabble with different things, different types of devils. It has, you know, it likes the cafeteria plan of the world, where it can actually go out and it can hunt down and find something to distract. And this consistency that he's offering, one, it's direct course teachings. Joining 400 times, join and joining. There's a reason for that, because of the power in each or more gather in his name. It's just the way that's been kind of co-opted in course groups, is that there's just intellectual discussion, but the rubber really hits the road, at least for me, you know, when he pointed out, look at before it was at chapter 20, it was just me and a conversation with him. And I'm looking at all these beliefs you believe from the course, one after the other. And then he's showing me, no, you still desire that, and you desire this, and you desire. Okay. It's so humbling, because then I knew for sure that I was going to need him. If our way out, for those that are dedicated, so there's dedication and consistency. And like Mary and I were talking this morning, to accept nothing other than a miracle. The dedication is to the miracle, to whatever he shows in the mind. Because the way it works in these sessions, they're very powerful. At the same time, you'll start to recognize and have discernment at the way the consciousness plays to avoid miracles. You know, you start looking and your mind drifts off. You start looking and you'll try, and the ego will come in and say, well, look at this desire. And to be so single-minded, like, Jesus, is this the desire I'm to look at? And then if he delivers it to you to be so determined to go all the way, I can see that that's when the real healing can begin. Because otherwise we're kind of moving around in the play of consciousness, and okay, that was a little twitch, okay, I asked for a miracle, but it doesn't really penetrate. If I can see it, the call of the heart is to find out if that Course in Miracles is true. They're two, it's like, it's this little side-by-side plan. One is when you're in these groups, the consistency to keep looking, because the ego is going to avoid joining, like this consistency. So the first thing is consistency and being very consistent with an assignment. So there isn't another way other than following him 100%, because we're following all that we are when we follow him. So it's 100%, and it's consistency of the looking. And then being determined, because you'll see it, you'll be, whenever, well, obviously, he says anger is never justified. So if anger arises, you can be sure that it's the protective shield. The ego is trying to protect something. It's 100%. There are no exceptions to that. That's why I said it's never justified, because it's, as soon as you turn in to start looking, okay, let me see what's true here, the ego throws out anger. It's so a storyline. What else? Oh my gosh, it just has a plethora of smoke that comes billowing out. But the determination to look in, because before we were determined, okay, I'm going to keep this piece of personal identity. But now it's like, it's an opportunity for us to go, okay, I am not leaving this joining session without a miracle. You know, you see that the miracles are completely up to our discretion. Really, if no miracles occur, it's because there's a decision in the subconscious mind going, I'm going to avoid that like the plague. That there's something else other than that miracle valued. So really, these sessions, I mean, they're so robust because you're learning all the discernment. One, to hear that voice and start getting clear on it and being coached. Okay, do I still have this desire in my subconscious mind? See, now, once you start having that dialogue with them, where you're getting to the point, is that still in my subconscious mind where your head can just go this way or this way? Okay, I got a miracle, yay. Or no, I still feel like I want this desire. It's the way out, you see? Because one, you're hearing his voice and you're learning to follow him and trust him that he knows what's happening in your subconscious mind and you don't. That's what I learned from him. I needed him for the honesty of God to show me directly where every one of these desires to deny was. And then even if I'm joining in a group and I'd ask him, and okay, that's, I trust him. If he says, okay, I've cleared that, or I need to look more at it, but do not leave. That's all I can say. Don't leave. Now, there are going to be times he's going to say, look, that's enough looking for now on that. And you can trust them. But man, it would come up in my mind again. Jesus, can I look now? Will you take me all the way? Never told me no. In terms of taking me all the way, you might say, okay, you have something else, another assignment I have for you. But he would eventually I just get back to it. And then I am taking this desire with you. If you will take me, Jesus, yes, all the way. And I would sit with it until there was not a tiniest little ooch of a scrap of it. And I see how pointing that look, supreme happiness is hidden behind these things. All that we are is hidden behind these things. So if there are any twitches left, and the ego is going to feel it's going to, oh man, how much more looking do I need to do, Jesus? Okay, that's a desire for until we finally see, wait a minute, divine light, supreme happiness is not going, how many more of these do I have to look at? See, he's given us such a gift. See, gives us two things. One, infinite happiness, denial of happiness, release the denials to miracles. It's so simple. The challenge is, as soon as we start looking, we start believing the ego and that sacrifice and hell's going to break loose. And this is really where the spiritual muscle gets developed, because we're continuing to say no to that other concept, those other concepts. Like, no, I will not tolerate in my mind. And I see how powerful that is. I will not tolerate anything other than supreme happiness, because I've told many of you guys about how he told me I was tolerating stuff. You're too tolerant. Don't be tolerant of that. You're powerful. We're powerful. We don't have to tolerate that unhappiness in our mind. So if you're feeling a twitch, we keep inviting everyone. You feel a twitch or an upset, then come together and join. Find a joining partner, type into the joining group and see if anybody's available. So it's not just, in the night and in the morning or like now. It's whenever you feel a twitch. That's what we're here to keep each other pointing up and always releasing desires. It is a full-time, I don't know what else to say. For those who want, but I am going to say it. I'm asking Jesus, he's saying, yeah. For those that really don't want to wait anymore, they don't want suffering, they don't want, then it's full on looking. It's full on looking. It's not like a part-time job. I can come in and do this, whatever. It's full-time following, and it's whatever it takes. I will do whatever it takes. See, that when the mind gets to that point of being able to say that, see, you won't be held hostage quite so easily by the ego. See, because the ego is going to have exceptions. Every time Jesus says, okay, here's what's helpful for the mind, a big but will come up. But if I do that, then it really, he's not kidding. It's God in his kingdom, or it's God in his kingdom. For those of us that want the true experience and nothing but the experience of supreme happiness. And then to stand into the fire of the ego firestorm in that asteroid belt. If you've seen that little diagram, we'll send it into the group. It's a little video of how consciousness dives into the dream bubble, deep into the dream bubble, into the thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And how, as you turn around, you go, I got to get back out of here, back to the infinite light that I am. How the ego, there's like an asteroid belt of hell that it creates to avoid really seeing that the light's always here. And what a lot of the hell that we experience in terms of the turning of the ship is because the desires below level of awareness are mixed still. There's some, okay, I'm going to try and do this. And then there's a lot of, these desires hidden under there. So it's like, it feels like shredding. That's why I'm asking Jesus. But you just stay determined. That's why we're together. Like, we're holding hands. We go together, you and I, and we're not tolerating anything other than supreme happiness. And it seems so far away, like when you're in the middle of it. Like, as I've said many times, I'm going, Jesus, I feel like I've been forgiven so much. Where is the happiness? You have to look at every single desire, or until, at first he's showing, okay, here are the specific desires. But when the decision's made in the mind that any twitch is this, it's very fast. It's show me Jesus. You take he'll reveal the wanting. You'll just see the wanting, like, and then you'll think, oh, okay, I cleared that subconscious content. I let that, I'm not holding on to that like it's some little special treat, the desire for, was it punishment? Yeah, we were looking at desire for punishment, desire for the experience of punishment, or desire, whatever it is, the desire du jour, desire to fight. And allowing ourselves to see how badly these things are loved, the beloved, just like he says in the Course, this is direct experience. But without the consistency, you'll see, with the consistency and the, and the joinings, you'll start to have deeper revelations because you're trusting him more. You're trusting him that he's going to lead you out and show you the places. But what happens is, as soon as he starts giving us like assignments, there's a lot of, oh, but Jesus, I got stuff to do in the world. It has to be single pointed for God and his kingdom, like just like he says. When your mind flips to that and goes, I am only getting miracles, I am only going to follow him, then you're in the real healing lane. See, the ego will go, well, if I follow that, goes, but it just comes up with a whole bunch of reasons why it can't do that, to preserve hell. Then it's really, really simple, because once the mind's trained enough, you just see the twitch and you, okay, give it to me. Go ahead. As I've said many times, I crack my eyes open and at night I just go, okay, what can I look at? And he might tell me something. He might say, go take the dog out, then it's just, there's just no spaciousness. And there's more and more contrast over time. You'll see it. There's more and more contrast over time between the twitch and just this love that's, infinite love that just is joy, like a joy. It's like having to reacclimate to joy for no reason, because we're so used to happiness for a reason, which is really pleasure. But so like even like this joy would come, or learning that talking to him is just a reminder of all that we are, right? So you turn and you talk to him and just like get these shots of love. At first, you feel like you're in a bee cave, beehive stinging you every 5 minutes because the ego's protesting hearing the voice. But then is that smoke, you just say no to the smoke. I'm getting a miracle. I'm getting a miracle. 100 million miracles later. It's like, oh, it's just this joy. And even then, I could see there was still like this play, of being so unaccustomed just to being joy. Like, don't I have to be doing something right now? So that's what we're going for. So let's just ask them. I'm asking them, yes, can we look at a desire today and then be determined to have our miracle and to really see it fully? Because that's really the game. The thing about it is be willing to turn in and fully face whatever he shows. That you're powerful enough. It's going to break that weakness play. You just turn in. I'm going to look at it. I don't care what it is. Give it to me, Jesus. That's, at least for me, it was helpful. So much love in that. So let's ask him, Jesus, what desire, what's most helpful for us to look at today? And if anyone has any questions or they've heard something, then you can say, and then we'll go into the session. Remember, these are really deep listening, and so there are no stories told about what's appearing. We just listen for Jesus, what desire, where have I had like twitches, or where was I not at peace today? He'll tell you. Then I'm just going to ask him. Let's just hear what he says. Oh, man. Okay. Okay. Anybody hearing anything? Okay. Angelina. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I could really relate to what you said. Well, I just felt like what I got was like the belief that there is darkness in us. That's what I got.
Okay, the desire for the experience of darkness within. Okay, let's ask them. So then when someone brings one up, there might be several, we'll just ask them, Jesus, is this what is most helpful to heal the mind, to look at this, to get a miracle? Actually, I hear yes. What do you hear? You don't hear anything? So we all kind of asked. We really want to.
Yeah, let me ask again.
Okay, Mary's. We're going to ask you. Mary's sitting right here. Ooh. Okay.
I heard a yes when she said it.
Okay. Need to. Okay. Yeah. So I hear a yes. Let's see. Okay, Jesus. Do I have a desire below my level of awareness? Do I relish the experience of darkness? Is there somewhere in my subconscious mind where I'm really enjoying the play of darkness? What do you hear? Anybody hearing anything? Okay, go ahead, Angeline.
I heard the guilty ones cannot join, that by being kind of outcast, that's like keeping, away from really joining, like, I don't know if the crusade I get now, like the mission, you can say this
Oh,
the joining of the big mission of light, you can say, like, yeah, the word I got before was like an outcast, like, if you're in the dark or guilty, then you cannot really, that's like a separation from really joining in, with the Christ. Yeah.
so this is really beautiful because it feels like you're pointing to what we're calling, remember, Jesus says we have heaven and hell confused. So there's some kind of benefit in the subconscious mind. The only way these can be held on to is if we believe there's a benefit to hanging on to this piece. If there was a benefit, what is it? What do you think in the subconscious mind is getting out of that play?
Well, the simple thing is lack of responsibility. You don't have to, nothing expected of you. You can just kind of stay. You believe you stay out of the game. Because it's like it's an illusion, really. You know what I mean? Because you can't really stay out of it. You know what I mean? Like, kind of a bit like a child. I don't want to play. I don't really want to, like what you said, like, go fully in. So that's kind of what, if I'm not qualified enough, if there is like guilt or darkness or some lack in me or some fault in me, then I can't really be joining that, that sacred mission, like that, kind of I'm off the hook.
Yeah, ask Jesus if we get a lot of pleasure from that feeling of feeling off the hook. This is really good. Is there a lot of pleasure in that?
Well, I guess there's a little bit of a rebel there, like, kind of, no, I don't want to really, like, do my duty or, be obligated to anything. Like, I kind of just, in a way.
It's interesting too, because the other thing I'm hearing is safety. It's like, how do we think this experience is creating heaven, a little heaven? Because the only way we can kind of have that play in the mind is to think we can get heaven out of it. And what I heard, what you're pointing to is the relishing of autonomy, keeping the autonomy, it seems like, and then relishing somehow the experience that I'm safe. See, I'm safe somehow if I'm, here's my safety and there's some kind of comfort in it. So I just really ask him, what do you hear something, Angelina?
No, I just it's cool. No, it's cool that I get like, oh, I love it. That it's like that I get this like images and stuff like, because it's really cool. I really love it. I get like from the Monty Python movie Life of Brian, that Jesus said there is a leopard. He's begging for money. I don't know if you know this scene. I mean, it's just a funny movie. Life of Brian, right? Monty Python.
Yes.
So this little bit, there's this guy with leopards. I don't know. Yeah. And no, he used to have, and he's like limping, and he goes to Brian and he said, "Give me a penny, give me like," and Brian tells it, but why you don't have like you're okay. He says, "I'm an ex-leopard," and
Oh, that's.
And then it says to Brian like, yeah, I was there. I had a job. I was begging for money. I had my life, and Jesus came and he healed me, and that's it. I don't have a job.
I don't have a role anymore. See, we won't have a role anymore when we're God, when we see that we're God.
Like you can't beg anymore for money because, like, yeah, he had that role of being like with the like leopard, and then Jesus healed him, and yeah, I don't know why. I just had this scene in my head.
No, but he'll give. I'm asking him if he's giving you that picture. That's the way we're learning to communicate with him, where he shows us the play. Here's the play. Here's how I'm playing this little game in my mind.
Yeah, because I think like when you have this role, even if it's like a miserable role, it's still some kind of role, that like you said, like safety. Like, it's like, yeah, I get this penny from that, I'm a beggar, but at least I know that I got something, you know what I mean?
Yes. So let's ask him if we can change our mind about perception of that as valuable, because that's the miracle. The miracle is to decide that experience of being a leper or less than, or that it doesn't have the value we think it does. Are we willing to see that doesn't have any value? So that's really the questions in the acceptance of the miracle. Am I willing to see the darkness? And he's saying we got to go deeper, because he's saying that still relish that darkness. He's saying, yeah, look at the pleasure. Can anyone see the pleasure in the darkness? Like how much it's really liked. Like there's a golem down there going, this is a good deal down here.
I get to hide and do my own thing.
You'll probably have to get close because it's not hooked up to this mic.
What I'm hearing is that I get to hide and do my own thing down there in the darkness.
And is there pleasure in it then?
Oh, yeah.
We have to see the pleasure, how much we really like that. That there's something down there going, oh, this is a really good deal. That's how come the miracles don't automatically happen, because we're treasuring, just like he says in a course. So the question is, Jesus, I just keep hearing no every time I ask, are we willing to see that this does not serve? Okay, so what else anybody else hearing? What else? Okay, here she comes. Okay, go, Angela.
Well, I saw like the drama, Yes, what's the fun, the pleasure? So I saw like an opera singer, like we go to the opera because all this like big drama goes on there, and people pay good money for that. Like, because like who wants to just sit in silence, and just like kind of no, it's like we want the whole show, the whole drama, the whole like, tragedy and comedy, this whole shebang.
See, this is how these light circles can be. First of all, it's so beautiful, but it's admitting it. See, the first thing is she's reminding us of, okay, so we admit we like it. Because otherwise the ego's up here going, oh, this is terrible, man. This darkness is awful. And down there in the subconscious mind, everybody's getting shown that we're throwing a party down there. And then up here we can complain, life is terrible, it's really horrible, and all that stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay, Jesus. What else do we need to see? Anything else to help us change our mind? Okay, go for it, Andy.
Yeah, and it's also attention because like, this whole, I think this whole story of the me is like, it's like, this kind of give me attention really. Like, it's kind of like draws meaning. Like, there is this need to find a meaning, but looking for it like in the wrong places, like, yeah.
So ask him, Jesus. So this is where the flip, we call it the flip.
It's like, in a way, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
If I think like of a stage, if someone on the stage, then it's like to look for that spotlight that's instead of just being there in the open, in the sunshine, where it's like there's just this abundance of light. But I think with the ego, it's like more, oh, I do feel in the darkness. And like when I have this spot on me, on how special I am, then, this feels like the sun, this feels like the light. Well, really, the truth is that there is this just abundance. There's no lack of light anywhere. You don't need that spot because like the light is everywhere. Something like that. Yeah, sorry. I keep forgetting the images. So.
Oh. Well, this is how he helps us see that it's kind of futile what we've been doing, but until we look directly at it. And also you're pointing to something, this is part of the only reason why these desires hang around us because we think there's heaven in it, which would be love, which would be safety. Jesus is, do I think somewhere in my subconscious mind, I can actually get love out of darkness? And see what he says, yes or no. Have I been trying to get love out of darkness? I'm trying to prove to God I'm going to get love out of darkness. It's very humbling when you hear the confusion, where that confusion is, but it allows, that's where the flip occurs. The flip meaning instead of valuing darkness as experience, we see that we've been trying to get love. It penetrates to the core. Like we want it to penetrate all the way through all the layers in the catacombs of the mind, thinking at any place in our mind that darkness is a good deal. See, that's taking it all the way down. So we keep asking Jesus, am I willing to see fully that this relishing of darkness's experience does not work? See, that's what the ego is going to hide and obscure. It's going to go, it'll let a little bit of seeing in there. Oh, this could be a problem. That's our question for us. Are we willing to let him like give it to me fully so I can make no more mistakes about it, that this has value to me? It's really the relinquishment of the value placed in that experience, the experience of darkness, of specialness, of the spotlight. and just see the pleasure, whatever it is, in full, or the relishing of it in full. That's what was helpful for me, to show me how much I relished it. And that just releases the content. And then I just ask him, okay, Jesus, am I willing to accept the miracle on this and change my mind that darkness has value? Well, I heard no right away. So, so what else do we need to see? Anybody else hearing anything from Jesus? Anyone? I mean, if you hear more, Angelina, that's good too. But what else?
Thank you. It's really beautiful because like I don't have that a lot lately. I mean, I used to have that more, so this is like really cool. Yeah, I saw again, like I saw the stage, you know, the performance on stage, like the opera, and like it felt like the unraveling, like, you know, kind of it gets clear, like the makeup, you know, all the costume like drops, and you just kind of left there, you know, without all that. Just I am who I am. I am as I am. Kind of no need for this. No need anymore for all this mask and drama and costume. Just realizing, you know, I am, and then I could see I thought of Jesus, and you know, this whole crucifixion and stuff, and like what I got is like, no, he was not playing in the drama at all. Like he was always just present in the I am, you know, even though on the outside it appeared as if, you know, but he was never, you know, playing that, you know. Yeah. And that makes sense. Yeah.
So I guess that's really the question. Are we willing to change our mind? You hearing anything else?
I'll have to capture it. It went. Yeah, what I'm hearing now is that it's like a decision. I have to be determined that this no longer has value to me, and I won't accept anything else. I won't accept mind wandering or out picturing, which are two favorite activities of the Mary personality, the Mary identity, that I have to be absolutely focused and determined that the miracle, seeing it differently, it's not some big deal. It's just, Jesus, show me a different way of looking at this, and then be still and quiet and listen and allow.
And so we just go back to the question, am I willing to accept a miracle, a change in my perception that this play of darkness has value? And that's accepting the miracle. Am I determined to go all the way with this Jesus? Or am I holding back at all anything from being healed in this? Am I willing to have my mind fully be healed on it? The value I've placed on the experience of darkness.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is the question, does this desire continue to be more important than truth, than my relationship with my acceptance of divinity?
And what does he say? So we have to get Jesus's answer on all of these, because, you know, he's the only one who's really honest about it. Is it more important still than divinity? Yes or no? That's when you get really to self-honesty.
You know, I'm hearing there's still some hanging on of thinking there's heaven and darkness. Like somehow I'm winning points.
Oop. You can unmute, Angelina.
Yeah, like I got about service. Like, am I willing to be in service? And it felt, I mean, when I asked myself, I felt for myself, no, I'm not willing, but for Jesus, yes. But then the question came, are you willing to serve? Am I willing to be in service? And then I got also, you cannot serve two masters. Like that's what, from there. And yes, I got very strong this word service. Like who do you serve?
Yeah, that's beautiful because we have to learn what that means. We have to learn what true service is. True service, like the ego goes, what do you mean service? I'm going to be a waiter or what? It's celebration of the whole. It's such a different, the ego has its concept. Here's my concept of what service is, right? But God's beyond the concept. So it's beautiful to start seeing it's the transcendence of the me mind. And that's the only way to celebrate what is, all that is. But at first it doesn't, it's the ego doesn't have a smile on its face over that. But it's the path out. What you're seeing is the path, it's out. But he has to determine what that is through his assignments and what it's looked like too, because the ego, we can get an idea of what that looks like for sure. It certainly never looks the way I thought it was. The way I thought it was going to look. That's beautiful, Angelina. Anything else?
You need to ask a question.
Okay. What's your question? Oh, you're asking Jesus? Oh. Anyone else hearing anything? Because this is really everyone's Jesus and can hear him about this. This is one that the ego's going to hold on pretty tightly to. And he's got to reveal all what darkness is. Yeah, well, darkness is basically any no to God, But the slightest twitch is darkness. Any kind of cause and effect idea is darkness. I thought it was like, the bad guys killing or I don't know, witchcraft or something like that or whatever. It's any thought that's not of God is darkness. That's pretty absolute. Am I willing to see that, Jesus? That's the question. Am I willing to turn in and face that? That's happiness. See, the ego goes, oh, it's going to be terrible to look at all that. And then you just see that's the happy learning when you get excited every time he shows you something. Like, oh my gosh. Happiness is behind that. Jesus, are we willing to take this to a miracle? He says, you got to see how addicted you are to darkness. That's probably what
I hear. I get that. Also,
are you hearing? You're hearing that too?
Yeah.
What else? That's beautiful. What else? You hearing anything?
There's some sort of hardcore of selfishness here.
And what would happen? What's the selfishness trying to keep or hide? What's he telling you under that?
It's like just its own will. Its own will to and expresses the ability to decide what's going on at any given moment. You know, I get to interpret mine. I get to interpret.
That's beautiful. Yeah, because any that's beautiful reminder. Thank you. Any interpretation is darkness. Ha ha ha, boy. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, like what I got is like similar that as what am I not willing? I said I'm not willing to accept that I have a choice. And I saw like a prisoner, with chains, and he's been given the key, but he says, no, I cannot break that chains, but you have the key. No, I cannot. I have those chains on me.
This is so wonderful. It's so wonderful to see this, where we're saying no. Then this is the only point. So we can go down until we see the humor in all this play. It's beautiful. And he'll show us all this, and you'll see down there, Jesus, am I willing to release this to a miracle? And I'd hear no. Because we still treasure it. It's treasured. Darkness is treasured. Well, you can ask them. I'm open if someone else is hearing them say, okay, you ready for a miracle? But I just keep hearing no from there's still some kind of treasure in darkness. Yeah, he keeps saying, yeah, you think it's a good deal. There's some kind of good deal to be getting out of darkness. Okay, what kind of good deal do we think we get?
There's some kind of safety.
Yeah, it's yeah, let that. So, it's kind of getting it at the level that we totally like grok it, if you know what that word is, that it so penetrates that it obliterates any idea that had value. So yeah, really grokking that safety that, here's where I'm thinking I'm getting a good deal. We think autonomy is a good deal. We think safety is a good deal. That's why it's really helpful when he shows you how much the relishing is. How much there's a delight, actually, like this little delight. Oh, look what I get to do. I get to play in darkness.
It's such a fun distraction device, darkness.
That's good.
That's good. Oh, these are so true. When you see, they're funny when you see them to the full extent because they're true. You get it. It's like, yep. See, this is really beautiful, honesty of God. Thank you, guys. It's really good. Jesus, do I like dancing with the devil on the darkness? The darkness devil, do I like it? But it's okay if he says yes. At least then it's out there. See, it's on the open. We don't have to pretend like, oh, crap, I'm so afraid of darkness. It's coming to get me. That's a play. It's not to judge that. I'm just saying, look, we're powerful, infinite beings. We can look directly at how much we really like it.
What I'm hearing is that I think I can dance with the devil and it's no big deal. It's like I really haven't grokked yet. I really haven't fully gotten the contrast between what Jesus, Holy Spirit is offering and what I think I got going.
It's just so helpful to sit just with the relishing and just let it reveal the energetic, I love this admission. It's like an energetic, and you can ask him, Jesus, do I want this experience of darkness more than I want God? It's very humbling. I'm like, oh, yes, I do. Well, there it is. That's that's the gig. But it's the path out, because now we're in honesty of God. See, we're going, all right, I admit it. God, I want this more than God. Jesus, but it's the honesty test. Now I still want this experience of darkness more than God. Oh, it's starting to wane a bit, I think. Feels like. Jesus, am I willing to change my mind that this has value? I'm starting to hear yes now. What are you hearing?
It's lighter.
You know, what we don't see is how much heaviness there is in it. In this, the weight of this desire, that's all the effort is in that. We go, oh, it's so effortful. No, the effort is in holding on to the desire and not seeing the wanting of it, that we're choosing it. So this is the opportunity to see that the choice, let the choice bloom fully in the mind. Okay, I admit it. I'm choosing it. I like it. I want it more than God. And then he that really opens the mind. He can really show, no, okay, Jesus, show me where I still believe this works better than God's plan. And then, you know, in that fullness, it's an opportunity for the release. Okay, Angelina, you had something you're hearing?
Well, I get image. I saw like I saw like a beggar, you know, in the street, and he lives in this kind of box, you know, carton box, and he thinks that staying small kind of keeps him protected and, you know, in a way nourished. Like, you know, he gets his begging, you know, he has his box, and like he sees that as his safety. And I asked, what can you do or something? He said, get out of the box. You have to get out of the box. But this box is like this false protection, you know. I mean, this kind of if I'm like that, there is this belief if I'm small, then I'm protected, or you know, something like that, or
That's
being
beautiful.
taken care of.
If I'm small, but taken care of, that's a good one to look at. But you can see how much is underneath these desires, how many beliefs arise out of the desire, just so we can create that experience we want to have. But as we go right to that desire and the relishing of it, see all the beliefs that are rising out of it just will collapse. Anything else we need to see, Jesus? Anyone else hearing anything on this? Okay, go ahead. And then
Okay, like how do I get out of the box? Like, because I get like, because it's not real. It was never real. that all those limitations are not really real.
So am I willing to see, Jesus, that it's not real? And if you get one twitch, not you, I mean, if that appears in consciousness, that has given us a clue, you know, that we're still holding back from fully accepting the miracle. Is it Maganelle? Is that how you say your name, or how do you say your?
Perfect. Beautiful.
Oh,
Thank you,
oh,
Megan.
good. Did you hear something?
Yeah, what I was getting was, you know, the question, who will I be without this? And it was just this gesture of letting go. And also something about, and there was a fear around, will I be human and caring? And there was this response of, your heart will expand massively if you don't hold on to this love for darkness.
Yeah, it's really turning into that secondary gain. And the secondary gain meaning the perceived benefit of the ego thought system, the trick of a perceived benefit. And to keep checking to see, Jesus, is there one scrap of benefit left in my subconscious mind of this? Is there any kind of little place where I would want this more than God? Okay, Renee?
Yes, I'm hearing power.
Oh, that you think you're getting power out of it? Mm-hmm. Loves that. Ego loves that power play. It's pleasurable. It's like pure pleasure. If you really get in touch with the pleasure of these things, that burns out a lot of that play, a lot of that subconscious content. When you truly fall in and just see how much we like to dance with the devil. And when those energies of desire, the wanting and the relishing, there's just nothing to drive all these beliefs. See, the beliefs are helpful, but they're after the desire. So it's desire first, and then you get a plethora of beliefs. So as soon as you lock down on the fact that it's the wanting of that desired experience and see the secondary gains like we're seeing, look at all the ego thinks it's getting. It's somewhere in our subconscious mind, not us, because it's not, but it's in part of the play. It's hidden to have safety, power, a potential way to get love. You can see why that play of the addiction, it's such an addiction. Jesus, am I still addicted to this? See, that's where that honesty of God is so powerful. Like, you can't run away from that. Like,
Yeah, I'm hearing pleasure in the suffering.
that's worth seeing, that pleasure in the suffering, boy. Getting pleasure or anything, pleasure and pain when he shows it to you. You'll see it's happiness. Like, we'll avoid looking, but when you get it and you grok it full, the pleasure in this, Jesus, do I get abject pleasure out of this experience of darkness? Woo! And the smoke rises. Is there still some pleasure down there in my subconscious mind over this, the concept of darkness, and loving it? They're still loving it, any kind of loving it down there. I would double check with them, make sure it's like squeaky clean. Not one bit of subconscious content left on that. No more playing in the dance with the devil. And then you just notice it starts to get lighter because he's really showing us where our treasure has been. The treasure's been in dancing with the devil and going, I'm innocent. I don't know what you're talking about. I really love it. But that's why this honesty of God he talks about here is the antithesis. See, it's the dissolution of the illusion. To be so dedicated to ourselves that only that voice, see, that voice is the voice that's going to tell us if we're honest or not about what's really happening in the subconscious content of the mind. It's like, that's why being these sessions, we just turn our mind to him as our guide. Look, you can see how quickly you can move through these things because he's going to get you right to it when you're upset, rather than in some kind of storyline or I got to see that. Just go, you show me what the real deal is. Feels like it's getting lighter. It feels lighter. Anything else you're hearing?
Yeah, I'm hearing when I shut up and listen. Because the noise, you know, the only thing stopping the miracle is all the noise going on, and I allow it. What is this? What is
Tolerate?
I tolerate it.
Yep.
Yeah. And Kay and I were talking about on the morning walk. It's just a practice of recognizing, oh, there goes my mind, bring it back. Oh, there it goes again, bring it back. And it's bringing it back. It's bringing it back to that inner communion, and just being willing to stay with that.
Yeah, that was big. Like when he told me I was tolerating it, although I didn't really get it really at the time, you know, because he gives us stuff and it's like there's so much going on. It kind of like blocks these deeper seeing. So make sure if he showed you something that you ask him, Jesus, did I grok everything you tried to show me? You know, you will eventually, but it's good to get it now because there's so many objections in the mind to fully, you know what I mean? Let it penetrate down till you feel it in your bones. You know, that's the happy learner. You know, I'm going to get this, Jesus. Show me anything I'm blocking myself from seeing in this. And then that's the true opening. See, that's where we're really turning our mind over to him so fully. There's no spaciousness for something else. He's got to teach us really, you know, well, he had to show me us over and over and over again. Here's what you're tolerating. You know, we've heard it this whole session, which is good to be reminded how much we tolerate this play, how much we want it. That is the way out, though. That is the direct path. When we see how much we wanted it, we see how much we chose it. And, you know, that beautiful thing in the beginning about not wanting to take responsibility. You see, the ego will go, I don't want to be responsible for that. You know, something that we do in form. But what it's really saying, here's the code words. It's saying, I don't want to be responsible for my mind. I don't want the responsibility for the choice that I've chosen unhappiness. That is deep for us. Are you hearing something, Raganel?
Well, not right now, but I got like layers of false safety. That's what I got, like, and it felt also like energetically like something kind of like the fear is like, yeah, and it was like false safety because it's not real. It's not real safety. It's
yes,
that's where it goes. Yeah.
Yes, that's when it's going to drop. When that flip comes in the mind, when the illusion of safety of the concept meets reality, the truth, it can never be what it was sought. When we're willing to see that and admit it, then that's the miracle. That's all the miracle is. It's just finally seeing this doesn't work.
Yeah, like they cannot coexist. There's just no way.
Yes.
The darkness and light to coexist.
But, you know, to have that on the inside so that it's fully grokked. And then that where there's not going to be toleration for that play. See, that's our other function is to not tolerate it creeping up. But I want to hear, I thought Marganelle wanted to say something. Yeah.
No, it really just hit me really hard when you said that, that the ego does not want to take, you know, says it doesn't want us to take responsibility for my mind. It thrust me back a couple years. I was in a Course in Miracles program, and it was clearly hearing that message, and it's so simple and it's huge.
Mhm.
I just don't want to take responsibility for my mind and the choice that's always ever present.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. That's the crux of all of it. That's why I saw that it was a course in where I didn't want miracles. Because everywhere I wasn't accepting an immediate correction, I wasn't taking responsibility for my mom, for the mind. It's not personal, it's not mine, but the play, I wouldn't take responsibility for that decision. It has to be absolute. It has to be absolute ownership of the decision, because then we can dispel it. See, then we're going for full power as granted by the Father, that this need not be, it isn't. So that's really fantastic. I love it. This is a powerful little session here.
I'm also hearing that what blocks the miracle is thinking I already know. And boy, that's there a lot. It seems like what I'm hearing is I want to fight that I don't know. I don't want to give up that I think I know. And then when I do, it's like we were talking about holiness the other day, and I realized I thought I knew what holiness was. And the minute I stopped and said, I have no clue what holiness was, there was just this vast opening and quiet and simplicity. Yeah.
Oh, let's go for simplicity. You feel like you can breathe, Yeah, this is a big one. It's the last unanswered question. Am I willing to see what's true because it's been denied? That's all it is. It's unwavering commitment to the last unanswered question. I'm going to see it all. And again, taking responsibility for the mind, like he told me, you're too tolerant, which he was telling me, you're not taking responsibility for your mind. Thanks, Jesus. That's the crux of it. Taking responsibilities is just accepting the correction like that, like it could be given, or seeing whatever he shows us and being determined. Like, I refuse not to see it anymore. Like, and I love that. I say it all the time because it's for me where I was reading, I think in your text, and he says, you will demand it. See, it's by our command. The world appears by our command. So we can command, no, I'm not investing. I am not going up to the ticket booth and buying that ticket to the hell train. Like this is how Face of Innocence is. You're on the train of hell and it's burning and it's horrible. How did I get on this thing? I didn't do this. And then okay, Jesus goes, let's back the train up and just go see where you walked up and bought that ticket. Go ahead. Very humbling. This is beautiful. Any other thoughts, anyone? Okay. Go.
I got I got this image of like clouds and like this thing with knowing, like trying to hold on to something, seeing it as solid, like seeing reality as a solid thing or something that we can hold on to. Well, it's more like clouds, more like, kind of, less solid, like more like nothing we can really grasp onto, that it's like, yeah, kind of more coming and going, and without really, anything to, to grasp to, but and there's something about like, oh, wanting, no, I want to hold it like, like it's a thing, like to make things solid, real, instead of just like, realizing they're not really, more flowing.
Yeah, these are just all great. See, because we can read the course or talk about the course, but until it lives, then we can't be in eternal life either. It'll stay intellectual And so these visions and really letting them, just land in the heart, the bird land in the heart, it's everything. It's just everything. And being determined to take it all the way. Like, I'm not settling for less than a miracle. I'm not tolerating this in my mind. It's so helpful. It's been so helpful when I realized that for me, it's like, no, I'm more powerful than this. So let's ask them again, because it feels helpful. It feels like it's really very full and robust. Are we willing to accept the miracle for this? And he might say, okay, there's a miracle and there's more to see, or you haven't accepted the miracle and there's more to see, or, however he says it, I just trust him 100%. Because I'm feeling like it's pretty complete for now. It feels like a very robust looking. Thank you for your sharing in this. So helpful for the whole. And it's really, he's emphasizing to me, it's our function to listen to what he tells us and learn to speak it. See, when we're speaking what he tells us, there's no spaciousness for the forked tongue, We're learning to speak our own voice in these sessions. Here's what he's showing me. Here's what I need to learn. And then it becomes more and more natural to speak that voice, our natural voice of truth. And in that, he's saying that the false just falls away too, because you're only speaking as yourself. There's not, when we open our mouths, investing in some kind of concoction, some kind of addictive pleasure. So I always check in with them, what do I say this, Jesus, or what's most helpful? Because I know when I say something that he tells me, that is the optimal for healing the mind. There's no spaciousness for the other voice. And it's an expression of divinity. See, when he gives us words, he's teaching us divine expression, to express in wholeness as all that we are. That's beautiful. It's the celebration. Such good training. Thank you for coming to the circle and joining us, the Light Circle group. And share what you hear too, post it's good, it'll help. You'll see other developments come from it in the mind when you share, okay, here's what Jesus showed me. You can share it on the Light Brigade. You can share it in the messenger group. It will help crystallize what you saw, get that fully embedded, because the ego is going to come in with next, it has a next thing to kind of. So we love you. Thank you for jumping the join.
Sorry, can I ask a technical question?
Sure.
It's like my first time.
Yes.
It's usually on at 7. I mean, I'm in Europe, so will that happen again, like in this time or not?
Well, it happens once a week at this time. Right now, that's what's been given. If there's a committed group of people in Europe that would like it to be at this time, we can pray to Jesus, and it might be given to be more frequent. But it's at 7:30 in the morning and then 1 o'clock, which
8:30.
8:30 in the morning. There we go. Good. Mary keeps me on. Yeah, 8:30 in the morning and then 1 o'clock on Wednesdays. But again, if there are course groups that really want this direct experience, it's our service, it's the joy, it's the celebration.
Okay.
So,
and every day at 8:30, yeah?
Every day, 8:30 Central, that's right.
It's the same Zoom link?
Yes, the same Zoom link, the same password. So once you have the password, that password pretty much works for everything unless we have a special event, in which case there's a different password for those.
Now at 8:30 to about 9:30 in the morning, it's a morning lesson. It's a course lesson. So Kay speaks to that, and it's very rich and very robust. And then at 9:30, approximately at 9:30, we start into a joining group. And that's when we go also for about an hour, 40 minutes to 60 minutes. And we do what we just did. We take a desire given by Jesus that denies the lesson. Like today, today the lesson was, I am the light of the world. And we looked at the denial of not wanting to see that. I'm not willing to see and accept that I'm the light of the world. So we looked at that. So it gets very deep, and here again, there's honesty of God, and there's only speaking what we're hearing from that inner voice.
Yeah, it's profound. It was profound when he started talking to me about there during the lessons, and he's going, you see this right here? This is a desire you have not to believe this lesson. It's very humbling, but it's happy humbling. See, he's bringing us down to just clear the closets out. So good. It's so good. Well, we love that you joined us today. Thank you. Thank you for the blessings that you brought to the table.